guys, and welcome back to part 2 of how to code a GTA 5 mod menu. So carrying on from episode 1, this was the base of the mod menu. We'll get into this later on, but this is what the mod menu will finally look like. So go ahead, click the link in the description which will take you to this website, visualstudio.com, where you can download the code editing software that we'll be using. So carrying on from episode 1, I forgot to mention you do need to go ahead and make a folder and name it whatever you would like. But in this case I've already made it and it's right here. This is the first file we did from the episode, part 1. So if you haven't checked that out already, the link will be in the description. So here it is here, and then you want to go ahead and click open with Visual Studio Code. So give me a second and that should load. And then Visual Studio should load with the same code as we did in part 1. You may see some adjustments I did add in here. For start here, if you want to download the template for this, I will try put the link in the description to download it. But from part 1 we managed to get the basic of the mod menu. So we've got the main, we have the open, we have the function which is F5 to open the mod menu. The title is just mod menu, we haven't really put much into it. But we will be changing that later on. Then the function to open the mod menu and to select to open self options is select, so enter. Then once we open that, we've got God mode, we have unlimited ammo, and there's functions for on and off for both of them. Next we have teleports, where I've only put one teleportation in, and then I put the teleport to and back, and go back from this command. Then you're able to change colours of the settings. Yeah, so let's go ahead and add some more features today. But before we start, we're going to need to start actually making the base of the mod menu. So before we get into that, we need to go ahead and make a welcome command, because we're going to need this when we make the second file. So now, before the open menu, you want to make sure you have a gap in between your main and open function. Here you want to make a couple of spaces, because you're going to need to type in a command here, and you want to type in / enter. Then you need to type in the command for left arrow. Then you need to type in imprint, which should come up. Make sure we are on GSC, yes. You want to type in imprint, and you'll see the top one will be object invisible to, and then it will say object number and then en none. So object number will be it doesn't actually have to be a number, it just says that because you normally use this command to decide how big the box will be. So in this case, we're going to put welcome, make sure I spell it right, welcome to, and this is obviously right here, you need to put 2 out clause and then name the menu. But obviously if we go back, you'll notice they already put down a comma and the last digits. So this here, if I can quickly get rid of this, make sure there's a gap between the comma and the out clause. So this is where you're going to want to put the welcome to and then the mod menu name. So for example, this might be called a, so we're going to be, we should let's name just mod menu for now, because we don't really want to go much into it. Remember, mod menu needs to be all in lowercase apart from the first letter. So now we've got welcome to. So when you load into a GTA 5 online session, make sure I take that off. When you load into a GTA online session, it will say welcome to mod menu. Obviously we haven't really got a name at the moment, but it doesn't matter. Now we need to go here and make sure we close the bracket off, just like so. Now once we do that, we need to the function won't come up, but if you want people to know what the function is, you can actually go ahead, is that closed off? There we go. You can go ahead and just copy, because it is easier. There is a lot of copy and pasting, but you won't be doing welcome. You want to take this off and put how to open, and then in the inner clause here you want to type in key, all in capital letters, key equals, and then whatever the key is. So in this case it's F5. Then it will do for the mod menu. You don't actually need this last bit, you can take that bit off. you only need the key and then open command. Now we need to make sure we do actually, there it is. Make sure we outclause it, otherwise that command won't be, it will be invalid. Now once we've done this, we can actually go ahead, we're going to add some more functions before we get into the next file of how the mod menu will start getting to work. So we have got the title, mod menu title, we got the select, self options, so we've got God mode and unlimited ammo so far. We can add more to that if we wanted. Teleport, one thing I forgot to add is where it says here for the outer clause, I forgot to put in the teleport command for the airport. If you want to add this into your own personal mod menu, it's 146, comma. Make sure once you've done the comma you do space it off. 45, which is the width. Then the last command is 085. Then you want to outer clause it, and you'll notice it's in green. If you're on at the bottom, you'll see GSC. Make sure you are on GS. I can't find it now. There is GSC, otherwise it won't work. Now I've typed in that command. We can add more. It's really simple to add these. You can actually, the one way you can actually do this is you can copy the whole chunk of this. Go to here, space it out. Make sure it doesn't glitch out a little bit like this. It needs to be aligned up, otherwise the code will give you an error when loading into the game. Now you can change it up, so we'll do another teleport location I know by heart, which is Maze Bank. So type in Maze Bank. You'll notice Maze Bank will come up to yellow. You don't want that, so do underscore, and then it will all go up in yellow, which you need for the main location. Now you can 0.5 will always be the middle code, because that is obviously the teleport code. But here you do need to change the coordinates. It's actually quite similar. It's 122. Middle is 85, and last, and get it, is 485. Then obviously that will just be another function. Going back, going forward, it will be the same. You do need to take this line of code out, because the line of code is here. You don't want two for the same, otherwise it will give you an error. But in between here, you do want to make sure you leave a gap by typing just like so. You can do that if you wanted to. It won't give you an error, but you'll just know between the lines of the code if you really wanted to. In this case, I'm just going to leave it just like so, because I know where it is. But if you do guys want to, there is actually another way you can do it. If you want to get aligned here, and then you can do hashtags in between if you really wanted. It does look a bit messy in your code though, so it's up to you. I'm just going to leave it blank for now, but it shows you what you can do in between. You can do that for the colours, etc. So now in the colours, I could add more if I fancied, but to be fair, the main colours of a mod menu is normally red, yellow, blue and green. If you want to add more, it's the same function. If you want to know the colours, just look them up on Google for the colour code. I forgot to add last one as well. You do need the number plus an up arrow. So I'm going to add that in now. Some of these code I'm new to myself, but I'm learning. But you do need a up arrow on every single number. You only need it on the right side. Left side will just give you a blank colour. It will just give you white, which you only want for the text. Which is another thing I was going to mention. If you want to have your scroll for the whole menu as a certain text, what you need to do under where it says main, leave some, no, not under main, in between where the function for the open key is, and here, make sure there's a spare line, and you want to put a outer clause, and then you want to put scroll. You'll notice it will say, I don't know if it will come up yet, but if it doesn't, then you can type in scroll force no cut. There it is, and it will say the number. Now you need to do the blank, so you need to do up and then type in any number you want. It actually doesn't matter because it will be white whatever number, so you could just put some random numbers if you felt like it, or if you wanted to make your code look nice, just do 9 because it does go well with it. Now this will set your thing to white, then you can go down again and type in the imprint for text, set text, and then it will go to outer clause. Then you can change your text color, so for example by default will be white. Then you have to do it again, set text. If it does do the double T, just make sure you have a capital T for text not set at the end, otherwise that will give you an error when loading the menu. Now you've got the text, you've got the basic settings of the mod menu. Now I need to actually make a new file. Now to do this you do need to click on new file. Now it will open up a new tab, but you need to make sure you save this tab. So go to file, save as, and make sure it's on your desktop or wherever you're saving it and it's in your main file. Now I need to find GSC, obviously it's not on here right now. You can flick, I might be able to find it. There is a lot of code in this software, so if you can't find it, the easiest way of doing it though is going down to where it says plain text, clicking GSC. Now you can go ahead and click file, save as, and now you'll notice your main will come up. Now I'm just going to name, you want to make sure you keep the .gsc, but you can name it whatever you want. But to make it simple, you got the first bit of the menu, which is the main, and then you got the secondary. But you have a choice of doing it. You could do the main, secondary, but you need to make sure none of these files are the exact same. So you could do main, and then you could do the base. So in this case will be base. Then you can click save. You'll now notice at the top it will say main and then base next to it. To know if it's in this file or not, make sure you refresh it and you'll notice you have a main and a base. Make sure you keep all these files in one. Don't go ahead and make new folders like so. Oh, I don't want to create a shortcut. But you don't want to go ahead and make new folders and put it in separate ones, otherwise it'll be really hard to compress, because at the end you will need to have WinRAR, which will be linked in the description once we get to the final part of making the menu. But then you will need to compress into a zipped folder to do a certain step which converts the whole thing into a DLL, which then you'll be able to inject into a game. Yes, I know, that's a lot of information to take in. But now we've got the base, you need to start working on this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all this. Now, just doing this just for a base reference. This actually doesn't affect the menu, but it just shows me everything in line with these at the edge of the code. Then you can leave a gap. Now you need to do similar to this, sort of the same loadout as the start. Just copy that quick. Copy and paste, but obviously this time it won't be main. It is going to be base. Make sure you have a capital B, because it's obviously a capital B here. Did I do that for this one? No. Make sure they are a capital letter on this, otherwise it will give you an error. There's a lot of ways it can give you errors. That's why when you're making menus, you should be testing them as you go. The only downside with making GTA5 mod menus is you can't do that. Now you've got the base, it's sort of similar to main with the objective, but you don't need this because it won't show you this. But you do need to have the same line of code. So basically you can just copy this whole thing all the way down to the text, just like so. But remember to leave a gap in between your base to prevent errors. Now you can space it down, go down a couple if you want. Now the open function is going to be slightly different, because in this case you're not doing a open function, you're doing a base for the menu. Now the base for the menu, you are going to need a URL, so you need to type in a side arrow URL, and you'll see use trigger required to look at. Make sure you tab that. Now you'll have a number you need to type in for the base code for Rockstar Games or Epic Games or whatever you're running this mod menu on is 886 443 913701. Now I know that if you didn't catch that number, just type in up on Google, but if you can see the screen, that is the base code for the game. You do need to know this, because this code you will be using a lot while you're making this mod menu. Now you've made this will give you the base code for the game, so it will direct that game when you inject, so you won't have any problems. Now you will need to go back to main, and the main functions, so all the sub commands for this menu you do need to have listed. So for the title you can copy it. As I said, there is a lot of copy and pasting and going across, but remember you do need to, let's quickly tab this in. You need to make sure there's gaps in between between each code of line. Now you need to confirm every line of code. So in this case, it's going to be the title. You don't need to do the select or anything. You just need the subtitles and titles for this selection. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to self options, just like so. Yeah, you need self, and then you got another subline, which I'll copy. This is going to be how the menu is laid out. Make sure you put a space in between all these because it'll be easier in a minute. So you got the title. This one is going to be slightly different, which I remembered. You do need to copy this once again. Do a double line of code, but at the end you want to add a double zebra. That's what they call double lines, so like a double arrow, but they call a zebra. Now you want to do a line, and now you need the game-based code, which is here. So I'm going to copy it, do it in a bracket. It will do a double bracket by default if you do the front one and click shift. You do need it on both of them, so it will work. You will need to do it on every single sub menu, so as many as you do is as many you will need. So for example, we'll do it on this one. Now we need to go back. We've done the teleport, now we've got settings. And we have to do the same option again. You haven't got to do base, you haven't got to do the double zebra on all of them. You only have to do it on the title because it's the main top is where you'll be doing the bold. Which obviously you can do as well if you felt like it, is a imprint code. An imprint code is what will be the name of under the mod menu, which is like a subline. So after that you could do the imprint as welcome. You could do welcome, then do a imprint again, outcode, then you do need to do under this as a sub count. Then you want to do the welcome again, but this time you want to type the coded version of welcome. So if you guys don't know Morse code, words into numbers, I'll be leaving a link in the description for that if you want to go and look up. If not, just look it up on Google. But the words for welcome is 7, 5, 3, 2, 9, 2. And if I remember correctly, you need to make sure obviously how many letters there are is how many numbers there are. So in this case there are 4, 5, 6 and 7. So you've only got 6 here, which the last one was a 1. You need to make sure you remember that, otherwise you can mess up your code. Now you do need to cover the last sub count. Paste it, just makes it easier. Now you've got the basic line for that. We'll go down to settings because I forgot about that. We'll quickly go ahead and copy that. I'm going to do a number. There we go. Now we've got the baseline just like so. We need to go ahead and tag all these out, but this you'll be able to do it all in one by clicking. Make sure you do leave one space between the use trigger required lookout and do this. And on every single one of these, do a do that. And if you notice, if you press shift when doing it, it will do a double and put a 1 in every single one of these. No, you don't want 12. You only need it in the 3 sub counts. If you obviously go in the main, and so we open up the basic menu. As you see, we've got self, player, lobby, vehicle options, weapons, map creator, ped. You know what I mean. There's loads of different options you can use. But just for this tutorial, these parts, we're going to be doing all of them eventually. But at the moment, we're just getting on with these. But as you see, this is where they will go with the baseline code. If you put 1, then once you tag it off, just like so, you will have all this in one. But you need to make sure you put a star in between each of these, so it registers into the mod menu. So when you're selecting it, it will hover over it as a scroll bar. So while you need to go to, here we go, yeah. What I remember is you need to go to scroll text, scroll text bar slash, and then you want to type in what the color of the scroll box. If you want to remember through here, you remember the function is the colors. So we have 3 for yellow. I want the scroll bar to be green, so we need a 4 up. So we go to 4 up, and then you need to take it off again. Scroll text bar. Now you'll have a bar that scrolls down in the color blue. So that's all for part 2 today. Part 1 will be in the description, so you can go watch that if you haven't watched it already. Otherwise, this whole video has made no sense to you. Part 3 will be released tomorrow or later on tonight, so make sure to drop a like and subscribe for the next episode. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.